I still remember the way her voice cracked when she said it, though her eyes held no trace of guilt. We were sitting at the dinner table, the same table we picked out together when we first moved into our house. I thought it was just another quiet evening. Maybe she'd complain about work or talk about her new gym routine. But instead, she put her fork down, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "I'm moving in with Anthony. We're having a baby together." My world stopped spinning for a moment. My wife, the woman I'd built my life around, had just casually ripped the foundation out from under me. At first, I thought it was some sick joke. I even laughed, waiting for her to join in, but her expression stayed cold and serious. She wasn't joking. My heart felt like it had been slammed against concrete. The first thing I asked wasn't even why. It was when. When had she decided that the vows we made meant nothing? When had Anthony, her so-called friend from work, become more important than the husband who stood by her through every storm? She didn't flinch. She just said it had been going on for months, that she was tired of pretending that she wanted a life with him. I wanted to rage. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just sat there listening, almost numb. It wasn't like in the movies where the betrayed husband flips the table or storms out. No, I was calm. Maybe too calm. That seemed to unsettle her. She expected me to beg, to cry, to try to convince her to stay. Instead, I let her words echo in the silence of the room. Then I asked the one question that made her blink. "And you thought I wouldn't find out on my own?" That was when I saw it. The flicker of fear. The truth was I already knew about Anthony. The late nights at meetings, the sudden obsession with her appearance, the way her phone was glued to her hand. I noticed it all. I had even followed her once. And sure enough, she walked into his apartment. I'd already been preparing myself for this day, though it didn't make the knife hurt any less when it finally came. What she didn't expect was that I'd been one step ahead of her the entire time. She thought she was dropping a bomb on me, but really, she was just confirming what I'd already pieced together. She tried to justify it, saying Anthony made her feel alive again, that he gave her attention and passion she claimed had been missing in our marriage. I listened without interrupting, but in my mind, I saw the years I sacrificed for her. The late shifts, the overtime, the things I gave up to make sure she had the life she wanted. I wasn't perfect, but I was loyal. And loyalty, it seemed, wasn't enough for her. My silence must have unnerved her because she eventually asked, "Well, aren't you going to say anything?" That's when I leaned back, looked her straight in the eye, and said calmly, "Good luck." Because while you were playing house with Anthony, I was talking to a lawyer. Her face went pale instantly. She expected me to be broken to fight for her, but instead, I had already prepared my exit. I explained that I'd gathered proof of her affair, that divorce papers were nearly ready, and that she wouldn't be touching a cent more than she was legally entitled to. Her little fantasy world crumbled in seconds. She started crying then, not out of regret, but out of fear. Fear that the comfort and stability I had provided her would vanish. Fear that Anthony, the man she thought was her savior, might not be so eager when real responsibilities like raising a child and paying bills landed on his shoulders. She begged me to at least talk about it, but I just shook my head. "You made your choice," I said. "Now you live with it." The next few weeks were a blur. She packed her things. Moving into Anthony's apartment. I signed the divorce papers with a steady hand. People always imagine heartbreak leaves you broken, but for me, it was strangely liberating. I had already grieved the loss of my marriage before she even admitted the truth. By the time she left, I was already looking forward. Months later, I heard from a mutual friend that things weren't so perfect between her and Anthony. The reality of Bill's responsibility and her pregnancy weighed heavily on him. Rumors said he wasn't as committed as she thought he'd be. That didn't surprise me. Men like Anthony are always fun in the shadows, but weak in the light of day. I didn't gloat when I heard it. I just felt a deep sense of closure. She made her bed and now she had to lie in it. As for me, I rebuilt. I started fresh. I reconnected with old friends, picked up hobbies I had abandoned, and for the first time in years, I felt genuinely free. My reply that night had stunned her into silence. But it had also freed me. Sometimes strength isn't in fighting to keep someone. It's in knowing when to let go. And when I did, I realized I hadn't lost anything. She had.